Good morning, everyone. We are starting the book of Devarim and Parshas Devarim. Let's get started here on the first chapter, first verse. Eila Devarim asher diber Moshe el kol bnei Yisrael. These are the words which Moshe spoke to all of the children of Israel. Be'ever HaYarden, up in the Jordan desert. Be'ever HaYarden b'midbar, ba'arava, moel soif, bein paran uvein teifel, the lavan v'chatzeros v'dei zahav. On that side of the Jordan desert, in the plain opposite the Red Sea. Welcome. Opposite the Red Sea, between Paran and Tofel and Lavan and Chatzeros and Dei Zahav. So let's look at some of the Rashis. These are the words. Since these are words of rebuke, and Moshe enumerates here all the places where they angered Hashem, therefore it makes no explicit mention of incidents in which they transgressed, but rather merely alludes to them by mentioning the names of the places out of respect to the children of Israel. So it just says what you did here, what you did there, complained here, you transgressed against Hashem over here, just with the names of the cities, but not the actual things. All of Israel, why does it say all of Israel? If he only rebuked some of the people of Israel, then those who were at the marketplace, in other words, they were not present at the rebuke, they would have said, why didn't you tell back, why don't you answer Moshe this way? Or why didn't you say this? Why don't you say that? They would have told to their friends. So therefore he assembled all of them and said to them, see, you are all here. If anyone has an answer, let him answer. Speak up if you have an answer to what I'm saying. Let's go to the next one. Right here, opposite the Red Sea. What was the Red Sea? He rebuked them regarding the rebellion at the Red Sea. When they arrived at the Red Sea, they said, is it because there are no graves in Egypt you have taken us to die in the desert? So that's what it mentions there. Next one, between Paran and Tofel and Lavan. Rabbi Yochanan said, this is an interesting Gemara. We have reviewed the entire Bible. We have found no place named Tofel or Lavan. However, the explanation is that he rebuked them because of their foolish things that they said. Tefelu, which is foolish, about the man, which was Lavan, which was white. So Tafan, Beitafan, Ulavan, Tafel, Ulavan, that is referring to the complaining of the man, which was white and was foolish of them to complain. Chatzeros, what's that referring to? Remember, we said each of the cities is referring to a different complaint and mistake that the Jewish people made. So what was Chatzeros concerning that was about Korach. And Dizav, what does that have to do with? That has to do with the golden calf. The golden calf was about gold. He rebuked them for the calf they had made as a result of their abundance of gold. Okay, pasuk number 2. It is an 11-day journey from Chorev by way of Mount Seir to Kadesh Barnea. Moshe said to them, see what you caused. There's no shorter route from Chorev to Kadesh Barnea than the way through Mount Seir. And even that is a journey of 11 days, but you transversed it in 3 days. We have exceptional speedy travel. Yet still, you guys are, complaining about everything. How do we know that it was 3 days? For they traveled from Chorev on the 20th of the year, as it is said, and it came to pass in the second year, in the second month, on the 20th of the month, the children of Israel traveled. So we know that they left on the 20th of the year. Just in case you're wondering, the second month, when we're counting the months, the second month, the first month starts from Nisan, not from Tishrei. When we're referring to the months, it starts by Nisan. So the second month is Iyar. And the 20th month they started. And on the 29th of Sivan, they send out spies from Kadesh Barnea. Subtract from them the 30 days they spent at Kivros Hateva, where the pasuk says they ate meat a month of days, and the 7 days they spent at Hazareth for Miriam to be confined. And what do we come out? We come out that they traveled for 3 days. And to such an extent that the Shekhinah exerted itself to hasten your arrival to the land of Canaan, but because you sinned, may you travel around Mount Seir for 40 years. So we see that had you guys just not complained and stuff, it would have taken 40, we would have been in Canaan, in the land of Canaan in no time. We made an 11-day journey in 3 days. So quit complaining. Verse number 3. Came to pass in the 40th year, in the 11th month, the first of the month, that Moshe spoke to the children of Israel according to all that the Hashem had commanded him regarding them. This teaches us that he rebuked them only a short while before his death. From whom did he learn to do this? From Yaakov, who rebuked his sons only a short while before his death. Let's go to the pasuk number Daled. After they killed Sichon Melech HaAmori, Asher Yeshiv B'Cheshbon, who dwelt in Cheshbon, V'ez Oig Melech HaBashan, and Oig the king of Bashan, Asher Yeshiv B'Ashtaris B'Edrei, who dwelt in Ashtaris in Edrei. Let's look at the Rashi, the first Rashi. After he had smitten Sichon Melech HaAmori, Moshe said, if I rebuke them before they enter at least part of the land, they will say, what claim has this man on us? What good has he ever done for us? He has come only to vex us and to find some pretext for it. He does not have the power to bring us into the land. Therefore, Moshe waited until he had defeated Sichon and Og before them and had given their possessions of their land, and only afterwards they rebuked them. So he needed to show some wins, and then he rebuked the Jewish people. Okay. Pasuk number 5. Be'ever HaYarden be'eretz Moav, on the side of the Jordan, the land of Moab. Hayol Moshe be'har be'er, is a Torah azos lemer. Moshe started and explained this law, saying, commenced. What does it mean? He commenced. He started just as, behold, now I have commenced, based on Sifri. Okay. He explained this law. He explained it to them in 70 languages. And another explanation, which is actually the more common one, is that there are shivim panim la Torah. There are 70 interpretations. There are 70 ways to learn the Torah. Moshe gave it not just in 70, maybe not in 70 languages, but in 70 different ways. There's every Jew has his own way to learn the Torah, and they're all right. Hashem Elokeinu diber eleinu b'chorev leimar rav lechem sheves bahar hazeh. The Lord our God spoke to us in Chorev, saying, you have dwelt long enough at this mountain. There's an agadic explanation. I've given you much greatness and reward for you having dwelt at this mountain. You made a mishkan, the menorah, and for other furnishings. You received the Torah. You appointed a Sanhedrin for yourself, and captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds. So you've established yourself. Penu usu'ulachan. Turn and journey, uvo el ahar ha'amoiri, and come to the mountain of the Amorites. Velkol shchena ba'arava b'har u'shvel b'negev u'vachoif hayom eretz haknani v'halvanan ad ha'nahar hagadol nahar paras. Turn and journey and come to the mountain of the Amorites and to all its neighboring places, in the plain, on the mountain, and in the lowland, and in the south by the seashore, the land of the Canaanites and the Lebanon, until the great river, the Euphrates River. This is the boundaries. We're talking right now how big the land of Israel is. It's actually larger than the land of Israel today. The south and by the seashore. This refers to Ashkelon, Gaza, and Caesarea, as it is stated in Sifri. These are all places we know of today. that are still here today, until the great river, the Euphrates. Since the Euphrates is mentioned in association with the land of Israel, is referred to as great. A popular parable says a king's servant is a king. So you associate yourself with a ruler and people will bow down to you. Attach yourself to one who was anointed with oil and you will become anointed with oil yourself. It's good to have good neighbors. See, I have set the land before you. These are some of the most famous verses about the land of Israel. See, I've set the land before you. Come and possess the land which the Lord swore to your fathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, to give to their descendants after them. With your own eyes, you can see this. I do not tell you this from guessing or hearsay. And go in and possess the land. No one will contest the matter, and you will not need to go to war. If the Israelites had not sent the spies, but had trusted God, they would not have needed weapons of war. Why does Moshe further mention Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov? Abraham is worthy of Hashem's oath by himself. Yitzchak is worthy by himself, and Yaakov is worthy of himself. Each is worthy of themselves to have gotten the promise of Hashem. And I say to you at that time, saying, Lo yuchol levadi, says Eschem. I cannot carry you alone. I cannot alone. What does that mean? Is it possible that Moshe could not judge Israel? The man who brought them out of Egypt, split the sea for them, brought down the manna, and caused the quails to fly, could not judge them? Rather, he said to them, the Lord Hashem, your God, has multiplied you, has made you superior, and have elevated you higher than your judges. He took the punishment away from you and imposed it upon the judges. In cases where there had been prevented your wrongdoing and did not, Shlomo made a similar statement. For who is able to judge your great people? He was wiser than all men, could say, who is able to judge? That is what Shlomo meant. The judges of this people are not like the judges of other peoples. For if one of the judges of other nations gives judgment and sentences a person to death or lashes or strangulation, or perverts judgment and robs him, it means nothing. If, however, I cause a person to pay unjustly, I am liable for my life. That is the difference between Jewish judges, that they are responsible for their judgments. They can be punished for judging incorrectly. Hashem Elokeichem, Hashem your God, hereby Eschem, He has multiplied you, and behold, you are today as the stars of the heavens in abundance. Hashem Elokei Aveseichem Yosef Aleichem Kachem Elef Pa'amim Vivarach Eschem Kasher Dibar Lachem. May Hashem, the God of your forefathers, add to you 1,000-fold, as many as you are, and may He bless you as He spoke concerning you. And that concludes the start of the first Aliyah of Parshas Devarim, and in the book of Devarim, where Moshe is rebuking and also blessing the Jewish people. All right, let's go to the Tanya. We're continuing here. We're starting chapter 11. Let's read this note to get into the mode. The Alter Rebbe stated in the previous chapter, in chapter 10, that since prayer is an expression of tshuva ilah, the higher level of tshuva, of returning, it must be preceded by the humility and contrition of tshuva tata, the lower level of return. So you got to have tshuva tata, and then you have tshuva ilah. This is attained by spiritual stock taking and by raising divine compassion upon one's soul, in keeping with the Mishnaic dictum that one should embark on worship only in the earnest frame of mind, which is explained by Rashi to mean humility. So you need to have humility. Oh, welcome. So you need to have humility. And tshuva tata, in order to get to tshuva ilah. At the same time, the Alter Rebbe continued, we're also taught that one should embark on worship only with joy. Since nowadays most people are incapable of instantly turning their hearts from one extreme to the other, is it humility, is it joy? The Alter Rebbe advised that the time for the humbled heart of tshuva tata be advanced to the tikkun chatzot of the preceding midnight. So when the time for prayer arrives, the worshiper will be in a state of joy. Since we can't go from extreme to extreme, from the humility of tshuva tata to the joy of tshuva, getting to the tshuva ilah, therefore, let's start the process all the way from tikkun chatzot, right? The midnight prayer. In the present chapter, the Alter Rebbe goes on to say the difficulties notwithstanding, it is possible for the heart to simultaneously harbor two opposite emotions: the anguished soul of tshuva tata and the joy that immediately precedes it and accompanies prayer. It is possible to have both. Let's see what the Alter Rebbe says. V'amnam li yis b'libay ha'hachna hi bechinas tshuva tata kanis kala'el. V'gam hasimcha ba'Hashem shteyem b'yachad. In order to have both simultaneously, the humility of the heart, right, which we said is true in tshuva tata, and the above mentioned joy in Hashem that you need in order to do prayer, kvar milsa amura b'Likutei Amarim seif perak lamed daled, has already been discussed in Likutei Amarim at the end of chapter 34. Let's read the note. The Alter Rebbe explained there in chapter 34 that these two emotions are not mutually exclusive, since one's contriteness is occasioned by his body, an animal soul, while his joy stems from his divine soul and the godly spark that it houses. Okay, so one is in, I'm sure you guys all remember this from Likutei Amarim, chapter 34. So one is housed by the animal soul, but joy comes from the godly soul. Having two distinct causes, the two emotions can lodge together. Because they are from two separate places, they are able to both happen simultaneously. The Alter Rebbe now goes on to quote the Zohar to this effect. Like the Zohar says, weeping is lodged in one side of my heart, and joy is lodged on the other side of my heart. Interesting. With Seir of Oid Ha'emuna V'Abitachan, Liyas Nachaim Libay B'Tuach Ba'Hashem Ki Chafetz Chesed Hu. Joined to this is faith and confidence, the heart being firm and certain in God that He delights in kindness. V'chanim v'rachum v'rav l'sloyach. I think we're continuing. Is this a continuation of the Zohar? Possibly. Or maybe he's explaining. V'chanim v'rachum v'rav l'sloach teichef umiyad shemevakesh mechilo slicha mi'iti yisparach. And gracious and merciful and abundantly forgiving the instant one treats him for forgiveness and atonement. Kiroiv rachamecha mechev pashay. As it is written, in accordance with your abundant compassion, erase my transgression, and kibasani tahareni, and cleanse and purify me. V'chol avinosai mechei. Or erase all my sins. B'lishum suffik v'suffik sveika ba'olam. The worshiper offers supplication such as the above without the faintest vestige of doubt. So basically, what we're saying is you can do both things at the same time. Just like you have the in Shmon Esrei, Tekev shemavakesh slach lanu, Baruch atah Hashem chanan hamar b'lisleach, and then Barei Sfek Bracha Lahakol Mishum Chash Bracha Levatah. Just like for this reason, in every Shmon Esrei, the moment we plead Slach Lanu, pardon us, we say Baruch atah Hashem, the one who it pardons. If we weren't sure that Hashem pardons us, we wouldn't be able to make that bracha. It would be a bracha levatala. it would be a bracha in vain. And like the Alter Rebbe just says, Safek brachas lahakil. Usually, you have to be so careful that it's forbidden to recite a blessing that's doubtful. You can't make a bracha on something that you're not sure. So how can you make the bracha and say, you ask Hashem, slach lanu, forgive us, pardon us, and then we finish the bracha saying, thank you for pardoning us. Thank you, Hashem, for being pardoning. Ella ein kan shum safek klal. The answer is that there's really no doubt here at all. Me'achar shebikashnu slach lanu machal lanu. For the very fact that we asked, pardon us, we know Hashem has forgiven us. Furthermore, were we not to repeat our transgressions, we would be redeemed immediately. We would be immediately redeemed. Like the other blessing that we say as well, Baruch Ata Hashem, Goel Yisrael, who redeems the Yidden. As the order of the blessings indicate, forgiveness leads to redemption. That's why we do first the bracha of Slach Lanu, and then the bracha of Goel Yisrael. This is so powerful. Even by human standards, if we really think into this, about the fact that when we say Shemona Esrei, we are so confident in the fact that Hashem forgives us. No matter our transgressions, no matter what happened, Hashem forgives us. The same is regards to the human standard. One must forgive as soon as he asks for forgiveness. You cannot be cruel and withhold forgiveness. Oh my gosh. Even if one were to cut off his hand, because the Baba Kama, as we find in the Gemara at the end of chapter 8 of Baba Kama. And if someone were to ask his fellow 3 times, and he does not forgive him, he doesn't have to apologize any further. Because you've done it's on the person to give forgiveness. It's on him. He has to give forgiveness, and he should give forgiveness freely. By the way, him giving forgiveness will actually benefit the person giving forgiveness as well. Like we see by King David. Let's see. When King David asked the Gibeonites to forgive King Saul, who had killed their people, and they refused to do so, right? David decreed they should not enter the congregation of God. They're not going to be able to convert, and thereby join the Jewish people who are mercy. Like it said in Parachas Yavamis. And God, He has this trait, He has this attribute of the fact that if you ask, you must be forgiven. He has it le'enkates. He has it infinitely more than what He commanded us. It's that forgiveness is swift, that we say the bracha of Salach Lanu, and by the end of the bracha, we are already completely forgiven. This is something that, when you think about it, gives a lot of power to us to take that opportunity and ask for forgiveness, both from Hashem and from the people around us, because we know that those people know that forgiveness should be swift. Forgiveness should come right away. People should right away say, the past was the past, and let's go to the future. All right, the Tehillim for today is chapter 18 to chapter 22. I hope everyone should have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.